in the Bible. All right. And this is what I've been experiencing. This is not something that I'm speaking from the Bible. This is something that I've literally experienced. Okay. I'm noticing that the people that plant seeds, that get a seed and plant it and let it grow, God give them more seeds to plant. The universe gives them more seeds to plant. Okay? The people that have a seed and don't plant it, but immediately eat that seed or consume that seed, they are chronically broke. Even myself, there was a point I was chronically broke. Okay? And chronically broke means working paycheck to paycheck. That's what chronically broke means. You cannot pull out money out of an asset if you're in a bind or something like that. Okay? Chronically broke means you're literally renting a house or living somewhere and the landlord kick you out. You have no way of getting the money, so you have to be homeless or go ask somebody to live with. Chronically broke is you don't have an automobile, or you have an automobile that break down. You have no way of pulling money out of an asset to go buy another automobile. You have to like depend on others to take you around or stuff like that. Okay? Like you just asked out. Okay? It was a point in my life I was like that. I was like that. Okay? So when I look at it, this Bible scripture basically was telling us that when you don't, when God give you a talent or money and you don't do anything with it, He's gonna take it from you and give it to somebody else. Okay, He's gonna take it from you and give it to somebody else. When you are fruitful and multiply, like what God told Adam in the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, God will give the increase. Okay? God will give the increase. All right? So basically, uh we're gonna read this story in the Bible of the master who gave his servants talents and they multiplied it. I should have had this pull up for you guys already. Matthew. Babe, look up that parable in the Bible where the master left and gave the servants um talents. Okay, we're gonna read that. It's so beautiful outside. It's raining, and then we're gonna talk about it. Okay, we're gonna talk about it. Um, we're gonna take an average of 50,000 a year. Okay, really, the average person make about 30,000 a year, but we're gonna go at 50,000 a year. All right. When you make $50,000 a year, normally, pull it up to where I can read it. Normally, you have household expenses of around 2,500 a month, and I'm gonna be modest. Let's say 2,000 a month, but it's probably really around 2,500 a month. Okay, that is gonna be 24,000 a year. Okay, you normally gonna find people have some type of car payments, insurance, and all that type of stuff, which is probably gonna be an average of about 500 a month. But I'm finding that a lot of people have $1,000 car payments, all that type of stuff. And that is probably going to be 5,000. So that's going to be about 6,000 a year. Okay, you're already at 30,000 right here. You have to eat. Okay, the average person probably going to spend about 500 a month because they got to feed themselves and their offsprings or whatever. It might be more, it might be less. Definitely if you have offsprings, it's more. That's going to be another 6,000 a year. Okay, you definitely got to put gas in your automobile. Okay, that's probably about another 500 a month on average, but let's do something modest like about 300 a month. Okay, I'm making you make a lot of money, well, a decent amount of money, but I'm making your expenses really low. Okay, so this is going to be about 3,000. It's going to be about 3,600 a year. Okay, let's just call it $3,000 a year. We want to keep even numbers. All right. We know you're going to shop. We know you're going to shop, hang out, go to the movies. Definitely go out to eat. Okay. I would think average person spend about 500 a month just on foolishness like this. Okay. So this is another 6,000 a year. You know, this is your Netflix subscriptions, all that type of, we just call this entertainment. Okay. Entertainment, what this was, gas. I forgot what this was. This was housing. This was a car. I forgot what that was. Anyhow, we got about 36,000, 37,000, 38,000, 39,000. No, hold on. We got 30,000 here, 36,000. Then this is going to be about 40,000, 39,000. Then you got 45,000. Okay, 45,000. Now we all know that's not real. Most people that make $50,000 a year for some reason end up spending about $75,000 a year. Okay, they end up, in other words, they end up spending more than what they make. You know, getting loans and all type of stuff. But I'm just being modest and doing, a modest thing here for you guys. All right. This is what you spend. Okay. So you might have $5,000 left over. If you have that $5,000 left over, you should be investing it. Okay. Now we're gonna read this thing here out the Bible. All right. Again, it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his wealth, okay, to them. Because I think that's what God does also. God entrusts his wealth to us. All this belongs to God. The whole earth belongs to God. Okay. To one he gave 5 bags of gold. Okay. To another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. Sounds familiar? God gives you stuff according to your ability, or you're paid on your job according to your ability. Okay. Then he went on his journey. The man who had received 5 talents of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 bags more. So also the one with 2 bags of gold gained 2 more, but the man who had received 1 bag went off and dug a hole in the ground and hid his master's money. Okay, he only had 1 bag and he hid it. He was scared to invest. Okay, sounds familiar? After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them. And let me say this. I know a lot of people feel like they don't have a lot of money to invest, like this guy that only had one bag, and that's probably how you felt. Hey, this is not a lot of money to invest anyway. I'm not going to lose this one bag. That's probably how you felt, like how most of you feel. Okay, now look at this. The master returned. The man who had received 5 bags of gold brought the other 5. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 5 bags of gold. See, I have gained 5 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. And you have been faithful with few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. Okay? That sound familiar? People that make money end up hanging out with other people that make money, and then they make more money together and such like. The man with 2 bags of gold also came. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 2 bags of gold. See, I have gained 2 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. Then the man who had received 1 bag of gold came. Master, he said, I knew that you are a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown. That's interesting there. Harvesting where you have not sown, meaning making money where you didn't even plant a seed. Okay? And gathering where you have not scattered seeds. Okay? So I was afraid. Sound familiar? A lot of y'all afraid to invest. I was afraid and went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here is what belongs to you. His master replied, you wicked. Woo. I ain't say that, y'all. Bible say that. You wicked, lazy. Call him wicked and lazy servant. I'm telling y'all, when y'all don't invest, y'all are wicked and lazy. I ain't say that. The Bible say that. So you knew that I harvest where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seeds. Well then, you should have put my money on deposit, at least with the bankers, so when I return, I would have received it back with interest. So take the bag of gold from him and give it to the one who has 10 bags. Okay, the one who had the most, he took it from the one who just hid the money and gave it to the one that made the most money for him. For whoever has will be given. For whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even that which have will be taken from them. Sound familiar? It's like when you broke, you get more broke. When you have a few dollars, it finds somewhere to go. Your car break down, this happened, that happened. And throw that worthless servant. That ain't me. That's a Bible calling your ass worthless for not investing. That ain't me. This your Bible calling you worthless for not investing. And throw that worthless servant outside into the darkness. And y'all been homeless in the darkness. Maybe that's why you've been homeless and in the darkness, where there is weeping and gnashing of teeth. All right. This is Matthew 25, verse 14 to 30. Reading from the New International Version. All right, y'all. Let's talk about it. Let me first tell y'all a little bit about my story. I started investing. Well, I really started investing and made a lot of money when I was around 21 years old. I was buying and selling cars, making an average about $1,000 per car, per automobile. Some cars I made 500, 200. Some cars I made 1,500, 2,000, 2,500. I think the most I ever made on a car was like 3,500, like one individual car. I think I bought the car for like, it was a Mitsubishi Diamante. I'll never forget. I think I paid like 1,500 for it. I sold it for $5,000 to my neighbor of all people, my neighbor right across the street of all people. He was in love with that car. And he had that car for a while too. And that year I made about $300,000. I blew it all. I lived off of it for about 3-4 years and blew it all. And I found myself kind of broke by the time I was 26. All right. Anyhow, from 26 to about 38 years old, I was in the wilderness. I was in darkness. I was living between my automobile, friend's house, renting, and that sounds about right. 10, 12 years. That sounds about right. Because everything is like a 10, 12-year cycle. All right. So about 10, 12 years, I was in darkness. I was in wilderness. I'm not going to lie. And when I read the Bible, I see why. Okay? Because I didn't continue to reinvest the money and do right with the money. I actually went through a phase where I thought money was evil. That's why one of the reasons why I stopped, why I just lived off the money and squandered it and stuff. I was like, man, this money's evil. I actually thought money was evil at one point. I bought a lot of clothes and I threw them in the garbage. I didn't even give them to Goodwill. I had like nice clothes, leather, silk, Bally shoes, $200 Bally shoes I bought from Capricorn, stuff I bought in England when I used to live in England. And I threw a lot of stuff in the garbage. I bought stuff from New York and stuff like that. And I stopped multiplying. Even as I'm telling this story, I'm getting revelations about what happened to me. It wasn't until I was 38 years old. And I was living in my truck, an old pickup truck. I was living in my old pickup truck after being evicted from my studio apartment. And I was like, God, I don't know what to do. I didn't know my next move at all. Okay. But I would go to the park and I was resting under a tree in the park every day. And I was like, dang, I'm resting on somebody's land. I'm on somebody's land. You know what? I'd be okay living in my truck long as I was on my own land. Because I was like everybody else trying to buy a house and all this stuff. And I just couldn't do it. It was either my income wasn't good enough, my credit wasn't good enough. It was always something wasn't good enough where I couldn't buy a house, right? But I always felt like, I could buy me a cheap piece of land for $500, $5,000 somewhere. Because I remember a dude offering me some land in North Florida for $500, like back in 1996, 97, 98, something like that. All right. So I say, you know what? I just want me a little piece of land. So I went on this mission to find land. I finally found some. I didn't even know I could buy land like this. $350 down, and I was paying her $450 a month because I was supposed to give her something like $1,200 down, but I told her all I have is this $350. I was supposed to give her $1,200 down and $350 a month, but I told her all I have is $350. I could give you this $350 and pay you $400 a month, and that extra $100 will go towards the down payment. And then after I've paid up to $1,200, I'll just go back to $350. And she agreed. Anyhow, somewhere between 3 and 6 months, somebody wanted to buy my land. And long story short, I ended up selling it to them, and I made about $4,500. Okay, I had sowed a seed of $350. Okay, the universe gave me $350. Okay, money that I was hustling. I was hustling in the street, and I had made that money, and I was literally in the street on the corner, literally hustling, and I made that money, and I'm like, every penny I made, I appreciate it. And I'm like, I'm not fucking this money up. I wasn't buying clothes, shoes, going out to eat, nothing. I was buying I was eating I was drinking water. I was eating like the cheapest food, all that type of stuff, right? I was not trying to spend any money. Okay. I took the $350 I put down on land. So what did I do? I sowed a seed. That's what I did. I I sowed a seed. That is what I did. Okay? That is what I did. My master gave me $350. God gave me $350. Okay? And I planted it. I parked it. I parked it. I literally parked it in the ground because I bought land. Okay? I bought land with it. All right? So I took $350 seed money. Okay. Right now, from this $350 seed money, literally, it's from all from this. I have over 30 properties, and my net worth is over 250K. This all came from $350. And this is since 2017. Okay? Actually 2017. All right? I turned $350 into $250,000 worth of real estate and my businesses. All right? God gave the increase. When you plant a seed in the ground, when you go out here and you plant a seed in the ground, there's nothing you could do to make that seed grow. The earth, the sun, and the water all come from God. God gives the increase, not you. Okay? All you do is plant a seed. I planted a seed. I planted a seed. This is all I did was plant a seed. Okay? I planted a seed. This is what I'm telling you guys. All you have to do is plant a seed. And when you plant a seed, do you go next week and dig it up and say, dang, why this damn watermelon ain't grow yet? You already know you have to wait 3 months, 6 months, a whole year. When you plant an avocado tree, you got to wait like 10 years before you see one avocado. But avocado's so expensive. Everybody loves avocado. The really, really wonderful, expensive stuff takes even longer to mature. But the cheap foods, oh, they'll pop up in 3 months, 6 months. But the expensive foods take years to grow. All right? I took this $350. Okay? $350. And then I made some payments of $450. Okay, let's say I made 6 payments. Babe, how much is 6 times 4? 24. And how much is 6 times 5? 30. So let me see. That would be really 300. 24. So that would be 2,700, something like that. So I probably had altogether 27. I probably had plus this 350 plus this so I probably had altogether about $3,000 invested over 6 months, right? I put down 350, and I made about 3 to 6 payments of 450. So at max, I had about $3,000 invested, right? Dude came to me and I bought the property for 9,000. I had it on the contract basically for 9,000. I was owner financing it. He offered me 16,000. Long story short, after closing, I made my $3,000 back and got back 4,500 profit on top. Okay, 4,500 profit on top. Okay, so I took that money. Luckily, we had this thing called Bitcoin at the time that was booming. And if it wasn't Bitcoin, I would have definitely found something else. And I took $700 of that money and I turned it into $17,000 because Bitcoin had went up to 20,000. And then when I saw it was dropping, I sold at 17,000. I said, bump it, let me pull my money out. Okay. I took that 17,000, went and invested in a house with a friend of mine, Carl, and paid some more bills. This money here, I took and bought a pickup truck, paid some bills. This money here, I took and bought a house, paid some bills, bought some tools, and went and bought some more land. Okay. This all came from me being able to acquire the asset for 350, invest more money into the asset of 450 a month, which gave me a total of 3,000. And then I basically doubled this, more than doubled this, added another 4,500 to it. Okay. And turned that, not even all of this money. I took 700 out of this money. I just paid most of this money here went towards bills. Okay, which is going to be my next point. I took $700 out of this money. Okay, this $700 came out of this money here is this 700, and this 700 I reinvested in something called Bitcoin and made it 17,000. But it could have been anything else. I could have invested in anything else and I would have probably still made the same return. Okay. And then I just took off ever since. Okay. Now you're going to have troubles in life. You're going to have things in life. God knows, since 2017, I done had vehicles, trucks, lost them. I done had surgery, gallbladder surgery. Life happens. All right. The one thing that has sustained me and made me been able to sustain my life is because I have assets. When I was in the hospital, I was like, God, because I was semi-retired. I was only semi-retired then. Now right now I'm like 75% basically retired, pretty much almost 100, but I would call it 75%. Of my bills are being paid from his residuals. But back then I was like, when I was in the hospital, I was like, God, half my bills got to be paid by me working my contracting business. How am I going to do this? And you know, I already knew when I got out, at the hospital, I was gonna immediately have to sell some things. I already knew I was gonna have to sell my guns, which when I got out, I did sell my guns. But a friend of mine came to me and said, "Hey, man, what you need? What you need, bro? This is why your net work is your net worth. Okay, if you got a bunch of friends and family that can't even put $500 together, you need some new friends and family. I'm telling you now. If you got a bunch of friends and family that can't even put $500 together, you need some new friends and family. You need a better network. If you got 5 friends that's millionaires, guess who's going to be the next millionaire? If you got 5 friends that can't even put $500 together, guess who's going to be the next one that cannot put $500 together? All right. Anyhow, a friend of mine came and said, "Hey, man, I could loan you some money. What you need?" I'm like, "Man, I, you know, I could use it, but I don't know when I'll be able to pay you back." He's like, "What you mean? You got land, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, okay, if you can't pay me back, I'm gonna just take your land. I'm like, "Dang, right?" I thought about it. I'm like, 3,500. I know I could pay him back that money easy. So I'm like, okay, I sign up for that. He immediately cashed at me 3,500. Okay, I I text him back. It was basically a verbal contract, written through the text message and email and stuff. Hey, if I don't pay you this 3,500 back, you get to keep my part of the land. So we did that. I was able to pay my bills and buy another truck because at that point my truck wasn't working. But it all because I had land. I had an asset. And that's what's going on in the stock market. Elon Musk was able to buy Twitter because he leveraged his stocks in Tesla or SpaceX, his other businesses. Okay, he leveraged that. He took the money he had in those other stocks and he bought Twitter, and now he called it X. Okay, I'm telling you guys, without assets, you'll always be chronically broke. Without taking what the master, the creator of the balanced universe, has given us and planting it and multiplying it, you'll be chronically broke. And not only that, the Bible say you are wicked. And I believe it. Everybody right now that have offsprings and their offsprings are growing up and you have no land, nothing, no inheritance to give your offsprings for them to start in life, I really believe you're wicked. I really believe that. I really believe you're evil and wicked. Some, obviously most people, it's not intentional. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you're intentionally evil and wicked, but I really believe you're evil and wicked. Okay? If you have an offspring and they 18 years old and they have to come out here and struggle, they might have a baby and they got to go on Section 8 and food stamps. They got to come out here and I'm not saying they won't, but I'm saying they have to come out here and struggle because you did not make provision for them. That's evil. That's straight up evil. That is straight up evil. I know young people out here get out of high school and they gotta be strippers. The females gotta be strippers. The dudes gotta go sell drugs. The women got to sell their bodies. They got to go do crime, all because their mothers and fathers and guardians did not make provisions for them, did not make investments for them, did not plant seeds, did not. When your offspring born, you're supposed to plant a seed for them. You're supposed to have some type of, they have this thing called a Gerber fund where you put the money there, and then that's money that's going to be for them for college. There's all type of things. You're supposed to do something for them by the time they're 18, 19, 21 years old, 16 years old. They have a head start in life. Now, everything in its proper perspective. You might have an offspring that they're not ready for those responsibilities. You might have a business, $1 million business for them, but they're not ready to take it over. I'm not saying to give them that $1 million business because they're 16 or 18 or 21. Everything in its proper perspective. Okay, but you should at least have something ready for them for when they are ready to receive it. Okay, I see all these young people coming up, graduating high school. The dudes gotta come out here, sell drugs. Like I said, the females gotta come out here, sell their body. It's sad. It's sad. Okay. A righteous man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. I keep telling y'all, the Bible is not a religious book. The Bible is a book for us to live by. The Bible is esoteric knowledge that they took and made it a religion. That's why the Book of Eli with Denzel Washington, is so important, because it's showing you how they took this esoteric knowledge, or they know that if they only have this esoteric knowledge, this Bible, they can control the world. The whole point of the movie was the guy. Matter of fact, I'm gonna sit back and watch the movie right now. Matter of fact, the guy, the villain in the movie, he wanted the Bible. That was the whole point of the movie. He wanted the Bible so he could control the world. He knew if he had the Bible, he could control the world. Because the Bible has all the esoteric knowledge you need to be successful. If you are fruitful and multiply, if you do unto others as you would have others do unto you, if you plant seeds, good seeds, wonderful seeds, if you're not jealous, if you're not wicked, if you're not covetous, if all the principles in the Bible, if you follow them, you will have a wonderful, successful life. If you seek a husband, a wife, you're not out here trying to be a whore. Okay? Now, people will sit down and argue over stupid stuff. Like, should we worship on Saturday or Sunday or Friday? Should a man have multiple wives? Should we eat pork or not? People would argue over silly stuff. Okay? I'm not talking about all that silly stuff. I'm talking about the real principles in the Bible. I'm not talking about if speaking in tongues is talking gibberish or speaking different languages. I'm not talking about, if a woman is a whore or not. I'm not talking about if a man is gluttonous or not. I'm talking about, and all those stuff matter to a certain degree, but I'm talking about the real principles in a Bible. If you follow them from experience, I'm telling you, you cannot be anything but successful. There's no way in the world you could have an asset, especially like land, and nobody not loan you any money on it. I don't care if you have good credit or not. Especially when you have friends. Like I say, your network is your net worth. Okay? So I'm telling you guys, you have to start to plant seeds. This is why you are broke. You have to take what the master has given you and multiply it. The Bible's always telling you be fruitful and multiply. I'm going to tell you another good example. Did y'all know that women that have more babies are usually healthier than women that have no babies? Did y'all know that? That's a medical fact. Women that have babies are usually healthier, not all the time, but on average healthier and live longer than women that have no babies. Okay, or have one baby. All right. Did y'all know that men that are married are usually more successful in life than men that are not married, than men that just want to be out here having a bunch of women and not marrying any of them? Okay. Um, did y'all know that people that own land, own property, own real estate, these are the people that usually are rich and wealthy. They start off by buying property. Most millionaires come from 85, they say 85% of millionaires come from real estate, property. Why? God put man in a garden. That's where God puts you, in the garden, in real estate. Okay? If you follow the principles of the Bible, there's no way to not be successful. I'm not saying you're not going to have struggles in life. I'm not saying any of these things are not going to happen in life. You will still have certain struggles in life, but you will overcome them easier, a whole lot easier, when you have assets, especially assets like land, when you practice multiplying. Okay? Now, I know if you make $1,000 a week, you cannot take $1,000 and invest the whole $1,000, double it, and stuff like that. Okay? But you have to take some of that money and plant a seed, invest it. You have to take some of it and invest it. You know, a lot of religious people would tell you, well, invest it in your church. I'm not totally against that, but, you know, I'm definitely not totally for it. Okay. I really believe you're supposed to just take your money and invest it in a worthy cause, and in something that definitely is going to multiply your money. When you invest that money in your church or religious organization, I believe what you're actually investing in is your education, because when you go to church, you're getting a education. So that's what I believe you're actually investing in. And by no means do I feel like you should go to church and just sit there and not donate to your church or religious organization. But I learned from YouTube. I learned for free from YouTube. It only cost me my time, and then I take my money and I invest in assets. A lot of stuff you learn in your religious organizations, you could just sit at home on YouTube and watch and learn, you know, because that's pretty much all you're doing when you go to church, and you do fellowship and, absorb the other energies of people around you, and you can network and stuff like that with people in your church. So I'm not saying not to go to church, but me personally, from what I see going on with a lot of churches and religious organizations and the money thing, I just don't believe in giving them my money. Okay. I would rather give a single mom that money, a single father that money, um, a grandma, grandpa that money that's struggling. I would rather give one of them that money. Okay. Um, than a pastor that's just gonna go buy a new Cadillac or something like that. And there's nothing wrong with pastors buying new Cadillacs and Rolls Royces. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't believe it's anything wrong. Matter of fact, you're supposed to be rich and wealthy and have on the best. Matter of fact, they say Jesus wore the best. Jesus was not broke and poor. Okay? He was not broke and poor. Jesus had a trade also. He was a carpenter. All right? He was a carpenter. I'm a carpenter. Okay? So, but anyhow, I'm telling you guys, the only way you are going to multiply what you have is you have to plant seeds. Okay? So if you make $1,000 a week, okay, I think the average person right now probably makes somewhere around 600 a week. Okay, you have to at least take $6. No, it's not $6, $60. Okay, at least $60 a week, and invest. You might invest in a stock market and you see your $60 turn to $50. Don't worry about it. Leave it there. When you plant seeds out here on the ground and it gets dry out there, you say, oh my God, my crop is gonna die. What you do, you run out there and you pour water on it. Okay? You run out there and pour water on it. Or you do like this, you move your plant into the sun. Okay? If your $60 go to $50, man, pour more water on it. That means the stock is on sale. Buy more of it. Buy more of it. Okay? But I'm telling you, you have to invest. You have to apply this. Okay? Now I believe in buying land. That's what I believe in. Taking the $60, that's $240 a month. So you should be able to afford a land payment of $240 a month, a land note of $240 a month. I could show you guys how to actually put down somewhere around $200 to $500 and buy your land, and you have a payment somewhere around $200 a month. I could show you, even $75 a month. I can show you guys how to invest in land and do that. But you have to plant seeds. Okay? You have to plant seeds. Okay, let's write it here. You have to plant seeds. Be fruitful and multiply. Okay? You have to. You have to. This is the only way you're going to get it, guys. This is the only way you're going to get it. If you get your paycheck and you immediately just go buy stuff and be a consumer, I'm telling you, you're just going to get poorer. Actually working, buying stuff, it's just going to make you poorer. You have to work, invest some of that money that you work for. Okay? And that is how you become richer. All right? Anyhow, get in a mastermind. 754-229-0940. 754-229-0940. Love you guys. Peace.